Hello, Rohan. This is Kajol from Next Genius team, and I welcome you today for this candid conversation with us. Firstly, of course, once again, a very hearty congratulations on your graduation, and we all are very proud of you. So, to begin with, I would like you to give your brief introduction and also briefly tell me about your journey from India to USA, that is school to college, because different countries, so it will be a little different experience. And also talk about briefly about your life in college, on campus.
Sure, sounds good. Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much. Firstly, for the opportunity to Next Genius, and secondly, for this interview. It means a lot. My name is Rohan Bandekar. I graduated from Juniata College with a degree in multimedia production as well as another degree in business. It's been 4 years since I left my home in India for the first time ever to live by myself in another country in college. So it was a very big kind of transition for me. This is the first time I was ever going to be away from my parents. And what I learned very fast was that I had to learn to be very independent right away, because the thing about school here and just life during school here is we're being told by other people to do things that are good for us. But then once you get to college, especially in a different country, you have to figure that out for yourself. And you have to wake up every morning and go to class. No one's going to tell you to go to class. Well, there are systems and support systems that will tell you, but eventually it comes down to you doing that. So that has been the biggest transition piece for me was going from people telling me to do things to me accepting what I need to do, my responsibilities that came with my independence. And that has been a great process, because I've learned to kind of become proactive and take charge for my own life. And speaking about the college itself, Juniata, it's a small, tiny college in the middle of what some might consider nowhere. It's in central Pennsylvania. It's tiny. It's 1,400 people, but it was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life, especially for my bachelor's degree time. I lived in this residential college for all 4 years, and I made some of the most amazing friends. I met some of the coolest professors. I did some of the most amazing projects in my life. I was given the opportunity to basically explore and do whatever I wanted to do. And there was people who would support and kind of encourage me to do that. So there was a tight-knit community at Juniata College, which kind of allowed me to do a lot of things. I was a tour guide, I was an RA, I was a community assistant, I did the marketing, I was a student content creator, I was a blogger for them, I started the first Juniata podcast. It allowed me to do all of those things at Juniata, which really became like a home to me, and that made graduation day really hard, saying goodbye to everybody.
So true. Of course, so all these things, all these experiences make it hard for us to, because it becomes home, 4 years at college. So of course, in these 4 years, you must have experienced a lot of things, won various accolades and, maybe achievements, maybe tiny or maybe a big one. So if you would like to mention some special achievements of your 4 years.
Awesome. Yeah. I like that question because, first of all, I get to talk about things I have loved doing. So for my senior year, I had to write a thesis, right? Like every college student, if you want to graduate with distinction, you need to write a thesis. And in my degree of multimedia production, in the past, people that have done this have usually made a short film. And when I first was at Juniata, I saw this one person make a short film. I was like, that's crazy that someone could do that here at Juniata. I saw the same thing second year. So there's always one or two people every year that would make a film, and that would be the highlight of the year. That's the one student film that came out of Juniata. So I wanted to do that my senior year with one of my best friends, Daniel Mulady. So he wanted to make a film too, and I wanted to make a film too. And he comes from like the music sound design background, while I come from production and video background. So we decided to co-write a thesis, which very few colleges would like just simply allow. And that was one of the most challenging and difficult opportunities, but it was something that I learned a lot from, was working on such a big project with someone else, especially in a creative field. So we co-wrote a thesis. We made a senior capstone short film, and it started a year ago when my senior year just started, and we basically invited anybody who wants to join us. And we weren't going to be able to pay them. They were not getting anything out of it, but over 50 people kind of came for interviews, and they were interested, things like that. And eventually that led to a 30 people studio that we formed called 114 Banana Studios, so that we could produce the film. And the formation of that studio with 30 people that are doing this just because they want to do it and not because they're getting paid or anything like that. It's just people that are passionate about making a film, wanting to be part of the studio, has been one of my favorite things to look back at. It took 1 year to produce. It took maybe 3 or 4 months to write. There was a group of writers, including Daniel and I and a couple other people. There were a group. There was a team of camera people. There was a team of audio people. There was a team of editors, and managing all of that, watching everything come together, going out on shoot days, planning shoot days, having actors come in, choreographing everything. I was the director of the movie. The movie was called Storytime, and it took 1 year, and we announced it on May the 4th. It was a sentimental day for us because in the previous years, we created a club called the Creators Club, which would showcase these films at a nearby theater. So we would always do it on May the 4th as a tribute to Star Wars. So this year as well, we released our movie on May the 4th at a local theater. So we had a black tie event, red carpet, and we invited there was over 300 people that came. So we had to reserve 2 theaters. And it was just amazing. We released the movie, and for me looking back, while the movie wasn't the product that I am super proud of, I am super proud of the process and the people that put in their hard work and the learning that I got out of it. And fun fact, there were 2 other Next Genius scholars, Arya Dikshit, who was one of the writers in my film and the art director, and Nikunj Dalmia, who was my production manager. So those 2 other Next Genius students who also worked on this movie were part of the studio.
That's great. Of course, it was lovely to know that, you 3 Next Genius scholars were working on one similar project, which was so close to your heart. And it's lovely to hear that, you get so much, such a big opportunity to produce, write and direct a film at college level. It gives you so much of exposure. So yes, as you said that, there were around 30 people group, and of course they were all from different nationalities and, different cultures. So how it is to be like an international student on campus, not just you, but maybe if you can share more about other students from other nationalities.
Right. I think that's a great question, because I would say one of the biggest reasons we go abroad to study is so that we get the exposure of different cultures and different perspectives. I truly believe in the fact that having gone abroad, so first of all, personally, I got to learn a lot about how other people think and operate. And this includes when I went to the institution, which is in America, I met with other Americans. I got to see them, I got to interact with them. But when I also went, I was in the international students orientation. So I met people from all over the world. I made friends from Spain, UK, and Nigeria, and Senegal, and all of these places. And some of them were exchange students, some of them were there for the whole 4 years. And as a group of culturally diverse people, it was always interesting to be in conversation with. Because you're so different, there's always something that you would bring up that someone would think about so differently. which is a cool thing. So having dinners with all these people was always interesting. I would say as a community at Juniata has been very welcoming of international students, of diverse backgrounds, and has kind of encouraged a inclusivity on campus. So there's a lot of traditionally in big universities, you would see a group of Indian people hanging out with Indian people. You'd see a group of Chinese people hanging out with Chinese people. Like, people tend to stay in their groups because it's comfortable. But Juniata, by the nature of us being very small, because when I went, there was like three other Indians. You know what I mean? So just by the nature of it being small, we are kind of forced to interact with people from all around the place. You know what I mean? And that kind of takes us out of the comfort zone of, first of all, not being in our own known areas. We get to try new things, new foods, new languages, new cultures, and then you kind of just learn new things, And the wonderful thing about the four Indians that all of us that went together through Next Genius actually that year in 2018, we all kind of went our separate ways, but we all formed our own friend groups, and we kind of came back together as well every now and then, and kind of sharing our every now and then we'd get together and eat Maggie, you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that we would do. But culturally, it's one of the most amazing experiences to do this, and especially with colleges that encourage, there would be events of all sorts. We would have multicultural story fests, which is all the cultural clubs are invited to put on a show. As a part of the South Asian Student Association, I was the president of that club. We put on Diwali, we put on Eid, we put on Holi, which was the first time that was ever done at Juniata College, So that was kind of a cool moment to see us kind of taking our culture there and seeing them accepting us and celebrating with us.
So I guess it's all about accepting each other's culture and making a community of different cultures and staying together. And I guess it's very interesting to, learn about different cultures and traditions from all over the world. So my next question to you is, we have always known that liberal arts colleges have hands-on academic support and faculty advisors. Juniata is a small college with 1,400 people, as you mentioned. So how has your experience been on the same line with hands-on academic support and faculty advisors?
Right, exactly. So that right there is the best thing about Juniata. If I have to rank out of all the things why I like this place, I would say the fact that we are so tight with our professors in multiple levels, in many ways, that it really allows us to take academic risks, which I would mean taking big projects, you know what I mean, that have a risk of failing, or wanting to do research, or making a short film, things like that, there's always support that faculty would have, and they would go out of their way to kind of do that. Now when it comes to in class, which was kind of my earlier couple years, was kind of in class, and then my later couple years was kind of outside class doing more project work. My in-class experience was also pretty good because the professors were very, they're small classes, you know what I mean? It's not 100 students sitting in a class, it's 20 or 30 students sitting in a class. That's the advantage of a small college, that the professor really gets to know you. You're not just a number in the classroom. They know who you are, they know how you work, they know the names of your pets. That's the kind of thing, that's the kind of relationships we have at Juniata College. I know so many professors go out of their way to help out students, and not just in academics. There was some times when Huntington is a small place and there's no public transit. So there are times when we are not able to get a ride from the train station to campus, and professors have offered to drive students from the train station to campus. That's just the kind of small type of community we have. And they're all brilliant professors, and The other thing about Juniata is that you don't necessarily need to have a class with that professor to like really get to know them. Like I've had quite a few professors that I've had just one class with that I've been very close with, just because they have an open door policy and they always are accepting students. Students just walk in and talk, just hang out with the professors. Professors have students over for like Thanksgiving dinners, for Christmas, for like just events, things like that. And we would invite professors for our events like Diwali and Holi and things like that. And we just kind of developed a very healthy relationship with them that allows us to like explore academically and things like that. So we always know that they have our back.
That is great, and I like this thing about that you don't really necessarily have to, be in a class of that professor to, build a relationship. That is something very unique, I guess, is about Juniata. So before we get into more such details, I would like to know that, there is I have heard there's amazing food on campus at Juniata. So how has your experience been with food on campus?
Right. So yeah, so here's what I would say is like a caution. Okay, like now I would say Juniata has good food, but for us as Indians going abroad, it can be difficult for some people. I'm not gonna lie, like that's just the brutal truth. It is a small town. So it is like rural America. So it's not like the cities where you have access to like vegan food, vegetarian food, like other like ethnic dishes, like all kinds of like food from around the world, like which cities are really good at in America. But in a rural place like Huntington, that is hard to get. So our dining services do try and do a lot of like cultural dishes. But it's not like they would try and make Indian food every now and then. But it's not, having had Indian food here, eating Indian food there is not, we won't like it that much. But like props to them for trying. Other than that, with that said, I would say the food in general is very good because there is a lot of variety. Like there are all the stations that are open every time of the day. And there's like a salad bar that's open throughout the day. There's a grill that's open throughout the day. There's like a Mongolian grill, which is more like stir fries and things like that, that's open throughout the day. So, and there's like a Mexican grill upstairs, which you can get your burritos, like tacos, things like that, that's open always. So like you have like your special, like your everyday, like there's a new food, but then there's also like the dailies, you know what I mean? And if there is like something that you don't like in that whatever is provided new every day, you can always go and get whatever you like rely on. I would always get a burrito because that's the closest thing to Indian food, with like a little spicy flavors and that. So that's the kind of food situation there is in Juniata. But the variety is great. They work really well on feedback. They take feedback really well, and they improve every year. So I can truly tell that from my first year in college to my last year in college, they have come a long way.
That is great. Of course, we Indians love flavors in our food. So of course it is difficult, but that's great that they try to meet up the expectations. Now
For sure.
that on this campus for like 4 years, like you said that all 4 years you lived on campus. So of course there must be like a spot that is your favorite or popular spots on campus where students generally meet and greet or study. So please talk about that.
Okay, so another cool fact I would say of Juniata is the campus quad. Like it's the center lawn of the campus where all the buildings are surrounding that area. During whenever the weather is good, like that place is always like crowded. It's populated. There's people playing frisbee or volleyball. There's always hammocks outside. So it's always like a nice vibe every time you walk through the quad, because you see your people and you wave at them, they wave at you. Like it's always like a good feeling to kind of be in that quad area whenever the weather is nice. a lot of people like bring their work outside, and especially after COVID, like when we got back, like we were encouraged a lot to spend our time outside to reduce like basically like it's spreading. So we were outside for a long time, and they put out like outdoor picnic tables, and like a lot of people would just go outside and sit at picnic tables, and where we had Wi-Fi, and we just like work there. So working outside was something new to me. I didn't really work outside here. For me, working was always sitting in a desk inside a room and like just working here. But like when I went there, I like started going out. I'd like sit in the lawn outside with a couple of friends and like with my computer working. So that has been kind of like the nice thing. So anywhere outside, the Quad has been a very popular place to kind of be. And then the thing is about indoor spaces, I would say every single building with every single classroom is available to every single student. Like after classes, like after in the evening, like every building is available for students to go and work in. Every single classroom. There's not a single classroom that's not like out of bounds. So that's like another advantage. Like you can go anywhere you want and work. Like I would personally study in or like work in Keppel Hall, which was it was a newer building. It was made for studio arts and integrated media arts, which was my department. So my department was kind of housed there, and they had like really nice classrooms and computers. So like I would work there, and like that building was open 24/7. But there are other buildings that were also open, other classrooms, and people would kind of pick their kind of classroom. They would either like, and they could also sit in the lounges. Every building had a lounge, but also every academic building also had a lounge. So like there was like a lot of places. So there wasn't like a one big popular spot other than the outside spot, but otherwise there was like quite a few spots that were open, which is nice because in a residential college, like it's like you almost know everybody, and so it's nice to just kind of like wherever you go, you'll see someone you know. Or like it's a very tight knit community, and that's another advantage of like having to find study spots. You can always find someone that you can work with.
That is great that you don't feel like I'm alone here or I should not go in this building. I may not find someone who I know.
No,
that's great.
maybe in the beginning, like first semester, maybe I was like nervous and I wouldn't like go into buildings and I wouldn't explore, and like it took time to like make friends and build a community and things like that. But once you do that, like all of Juniata is like it's like fair play. Like it's an open playground. You can go anywhere you want.
Correct. So now let's talk about the College Career Center. So the College Career Center must have been a great support system for you. So can you tell us how did you navigate your future pathway with the center's guidance, and also talk about the kind of internships you got access to, or were you able to balance your work, like the study and work together internships? So how was that?
Yeah, of course. So we have an office called Career Services. I used to actually work there. In my sophomore year, my entire sophomore year, I worked at the Career Services office. It is a office with a few professional staff that are very good at helping you navigate what you want to navigate. So the pride we take in, the thing we take pride about is the fact that we can provide individualized like advice to every student, because we have the ability to do that at a smaller college. There is something called Career Day that takes place every February, which is where we invite employers from all around the country that come, and they have like a big fair. It's a job fair event, underclassmen are also encouraged to go and like build up their networking skills, like things like that. And upperclassmen usually go to find internships, job placements, things like that. So it's a great way to kind of meet employers, things like that. But the other thing that kind of also the Career Services Office does is they have something called the Super Internship Fund, which is a very, very neat thing for a lot of students who are wanting to work during the summer, and they're working, either their internship is unpaid or they're living at an expensive area, and they would need extra financial support. They can apply for the Super Internship Fund, and the college has a fund for a lot of students that they would like allocate to. So they just give you the money to use. And then in the end, in return, we basically have to present a presentation about, or a poster about like what we did. That's to like build interest in that superintendent fund and to encourage people working over the summer. But they've been great, and they've helped me cover fees for my OPT, things like that. When I was working, like they like the superintendent fund that I applied to really helped me stay in the US over the summer, get my OPT, work at a company that I am currently, the startup that I mentioned earlier, that I'm currently working for, and I'm going back to the US to work for the same company that I interned for last summer. So that kind of like, it just kind of worked out nicely, and they have really been encouraging with that. And they help with resume writing, they help with like career advice, they help with interview training, mock interviews, things like that. So it's a very supportive office, and because the people are like, it's a small college, so everybody knows everybody. So like I personally know all of them that work there, and they would like know the students that they are advising as well. So that becomes like it's not just like a superficial professional relationship. Like they genuinely care about you doing well, and they like help you out, and they like if they receive like an update or an internship that they might think, oh, it might be suitable for this student, they'll just like email it to you in the middle of the night. Like that's the kind of support that we have.
Oh, that is amazing. Like they know you personally, so they can connect you with the right opportunity. So
exactly.
When it comes to right opportunity, career center, I believe the college alumni is a great network to connect with, to move from college to professional ground. So do you wish to shed some light on that? Like how were you able to connect with alumni, and how do you plan to connect with your juniors and help them out in their career path?
Right. Yeah. No, that is a fun question, because right now I'm like dealing with a few alumni of my college in my job right now. So the company that was started, the startup that I just mentioned, was started by a Juniata alumni, two of them actually. And then I was the third employee there. And that's how we kind of met. We met because they came to the career fair and we met. And after that, they kind of hired me, and I've been working there for the internship and now with the job. But then other opportunities with alumni have been at alumni events. There's always been a lot of events that happen where alumni come and they like have panels. Like the integrated media department would have a panel of like recent graduates that were in the department who would come back, and they would like, we would all sit and talk about like what is like a good next step, like because it's like a department specific, area field specific kind of like talk, right? So they advise you on how to build your portfolio, like what things to apply for, how should you build your resume, like what is helpful when going out for a job interview. So that is there as in like alumni advising us. With that, there's also alumni that are older and have like basically a wider connection throughout the country and throughout the world actually, that would kind of help you to basically find jobs, or would write you a recommendation for getting a job or things like that. So it's always helpful to be in touch with these alumni. And right now I'm like also working with a few, so for my job I'm working with other alumni of the college. But like when we met to work on this project, we like while they graduated like 6 years ago before me, like we had the same kind of like culture, we were both Juniatians and we knew how we both kind of work. So there was that additional layer of trust that kind of formed. So that is an advantage of the alumni network. As far as how I want to kind of help the next generation of Juniata students and next Genius graduates, is just kind of like advising them, because right now I don't have much experience in the post-college world. I have experience in the college world. So I've been talking to a lot of next Genius grads who've been Juniata students. A lot of first-year students this year, while I was a senior, would come up to me and they would want to like talk with me about like how I did whatever I did. It was nice to have them kind of like see me as someone who like achieved a few things, and I was happy to kind of like guide them and like tell them some like things that I did that might help them. Even right now, like I've been calling a few people, like people have been calling me, and like the next, like a few Indians from Next Genius that are in Juniata. I like being a mentor to them, both in college and now as they're like becoming seniors and juniors.
That is great. I'm so sorry, but we are running out of time. Like only 7 minutes are left. So I'll just quickly come to last two questions. One is like we would like to know any of your futuristic plans, if you have, like what you plan to grow, how you plan to grow. And as you said that, juniors are reaching out to you for advice, for mentorship. So what is your advice or any words to them for them transitioning from high school to college? So these two questions, if you can answer quickly.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I have the timer here, so I'll keep an eye on that. So I would say the first question, my plan, my next kind of immediate step is that we are going to I really want to get into film and like film production and media production, which is why I might consider a film school at some point, and going to film school maybe a year or two, and then getting into the film industry would kind of be a next step for me. But right now I'm working. I'll work as much as I can on my own, and then whenever I have to get to I'll do that. Somewhere in the West Coast. And then as far as advice goes, upcoming graduates to college, I would say one of the important things to realize right away is the fact that like you have to be responsible for your own like when you come to college, like you're independent for a lot of people, in a different country with a lot of things to do whatever you want, and especially in a country like America, a lot of like leaders that have kind of technology so that kind of people learn having to understand realize what you want, but kind of understand that my responsibility of what are supposed to do. So academically, like when you take charge of our own realizing that taking class and not like so the biggest thing is taking responsibility and going out of your way to like do things, like especially like college is the time to like explore and do things that are you're okay with like failing, because like you would have it's a safe environment to like fail. So there's always, it's a great time to just kind of take the big risks and like make big projects, and if you fail, that's fine, you have learned from it. And most important of all is to have fun, because it's college, and like definitely like make the most of it, like go travel, see whatever's around, like meet people and like explore like the place, get to know your professors, just like have fun with the projects you do, have fun with the friends you have, like definitely make the most of your college experience, because it's like a complete package. College isn't just like it isn't just classes, it isn't just like going out with friends, it isn't just like your final project or your exams. It's like it's a complete package, and like you develop your social skills, you develop people skills, you develop networks, you develop like how to live with people and how to interact, how to cook. Like you learn all of these things that you never thought you would be good learning in college, but you just kind of do. It's like a learning to how to be an adult. So like it's also a great time to just like explore and enjoy. So that would be my kind of like advice to college students.
That is superb. And I must say, Rohan, it was so lovely interacting you. Like we are interacting for the first time, but hearing about your stories and about your experience at Juniata in 4 years, it was so lovely to know all about it. And yes, I wish you all the best from the entire
Thank
team
you.
of Next Genius for your future plans, for your future endeavors.